Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. Our teacher for this week is Matt Kahn. And our meditation for today is called The Masks We Wear. You know how sometimes in order to feel like we can cope, feel like we'll be accepted in a certain situation, we've learned to not quite be ourselves, to somehow make ourselves acceptable. And perhaps sometimes those ways, those coping mechanisms can stick around for a big part of our lives. So we'll get right into Matt Kahn's thoughts and how that relates to today's meditation. Somebody, good morning. It's great seeing you. Hello. Right. The first thought from Matt Kahn is one of the most commonly overlooked spiritual practices is daring to be completely honest with everyone you encounter. I want to pause on that sentence and I'll read it again. I love how he calls this one of the most commonly overlooked spiritual practices. He calls this a spiritual practice. Just being completely honest with everyone we encounter. In a way, complete honesty can be so hard to do because complete honesty can also feel like it can hurt someone's feelings. And we all have our own journey in trying to figure out what kind of a balance to keep there. But let's hear him out. I'll read this sentence one more time. Charlene, good morning. It's so good to see you. Hello. He says one of the most commonly overlooked spiritual practices is daring to be completely honest with everyone you encounter. Some may say others cannot handle their honesty, but true honesty is not a strategy or a weapon of any kind. It is the willingness to be open and absolutely transparent in sharing how any moment feels in your heart. It has nothing to do with confrontation, with accusation, or any form of blame. True honesty is the willingness to stand completely exposed, allowing the world to do what it may and say what it will, only so you may know who you are beyond all ideas. And when he describes it that way, doesn't it make it clear how this form of honesty really becomes a spiritual practice? Anthony, good morning. It's so good to see you. Hello. And this is what I've found, is our lives change and our relationships, even professional relationships, change when we get to this level of honesty, the kind of honesty that shares transparently how this impacts me and how this makes me feel. The kind of honesty that helps us talk through what we're going through, the thoughts that cross our mind and go, well, yeah, a part of me does feel this way, agree with you, see what you're saying, but there is another part of me that just doesn't feel on board with this. These kinds of honest conversations can become really easy. The next thought from Matt Kahn is, when someone says words that may not feel good in your body or seem sarcastic in tone and are meant to judge versus uplift you, this only offers you greater opportunity to raise the vibration of your response. By responding to anyone's criticism with love, compassion, and acceptance, you are stepping forward as a master of relationships to create your own experiences, which has nothing to do with how anyone treats you. Creating your own experiences, and I'm not talking about lying to yourself in the face of how someone treats you. but deciding how you will respond has nothing to do with how anyone treats you. Responding to the world with open and sincere honesty is rare. Even having truly honest conversations between friends is not that common when we feel that we always need to wear a mask so that we are perceived in a certain way. True honesty is not about attacking others for what they do wrong. It's about taking off our own masks and revealing the honesty of our own humanness. Being sincere about how we are experiencing this moment. Here's an example of how simple, honest conversations can be when we put down the masks that hide how we feel. Just imagine being able to approach difficult conversations with something like this, some version of this. I can clearly see that it wasn't your intention to hurt me by what you said, although I still can't help but feel somewhat attacked. I'm trying to not feel this way, but I'm struggling to put this down right now. This kind of honest conversation becomes much easier when we practice. I'll remind you of how Matt Kahn describes honesty. He says, true honesty is not a strategy, it's not a weapon. It's the willingness to be open and absolutely transparent in sharing how any moment feels in your heart. It has nothing to do with confrontation, with accusation, or any form of blame. True honesty is the willingness to stand completely exposed, allowing the world to do what it may and say what it will, only so you may know who you are, which is, above anything else, the most important is that you know who you are. This kind of sincere honesty is disarming because it doesn't attack the other. Instead, it shares itself with transparency and creates a space that is inviting of honesty as the way forward for all involved. This level of honesty requires recognizing those moments where my habit has been to reach for an old mask to hide what I really feel, and to slowly lean into the courage that it takes to learn how to express my experiences without turning into an attacker myself. If you're ready, you can close your eyes and we'll slip away on today's journey together. Today's meditation is called The Masks We Wear. Let's start with the first few big breaths. Take a deep breath in and out. Take a deep breath in and out. A deep inhale. And let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in. And let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. With every exhale, soften. With every breath out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and even drop your head. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose can be experienced as a full body inhale. Not just breathing through your nose, not just breathing with your lungs, but feeling every cell in your body expand with a full body inhale. And as you release, as you exhale, feel the complete reverse of that. As you slowly empty your lungs, feel every part of your body fall. Involve every cell in your body. As you soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and even drop your head. While you continue your own full body breathing, we'll have a conversation about today's meditation. It is called The Masks We Wear. And we tend to have at least some kind of a habit of wearing a mask in some certain situations, because we've been taught in the past that if we don't show up in this certain way, we won't be accepted. And this only exists in the world because there is a lack of honesty. There's a lack of honest conversation, a lack of emotional transparency. Everyone kind of grew up with this same lack of emotional fullness. And whatever was squashed in them as they grew up, they tend to squash in others too. Slowly, we are learning how to show up in a way that ends these cycles. These cycles of emotional drought, I guess, where emotions are misunderstood and unexpressed. Now, of course, it makes sense that in certain situations, we might not be a completely emotional open book, but we can start learning how to have at least slightly more honest conversation about what's happening for us in any moment. And when we become more honest about the experience we're having, especially when that comes not from our wounds, but from our wisdom, it starts setting the tone, setting the pace, setting the example for others to become open to honest conversations too. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch, adjust, and settle down into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. Take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward. Roll out your neck muscles forward and to the left, and forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. Lean your upper body over to the left. And lean your upper body over to the right. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, or at the very least becoming as present as we possibly can be right now, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. With every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, then this is always a good place to stop. But if you are here for the whole journey, we'll take the next few big breaths together. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a long, slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel how softness slips in and how it settles in every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. And feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath. But hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, our journey today explores the masks that we may have picked up along the way. But more than that, it explores the honest conversations that you can have with yourself. And all improvement in honest conversations starts with the honesty we have with ourselves first. Take your next big breath. Our journey today starts as far back as our memories might go. It starts with the youngest version of ourselves. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, see if you can perhaps remind yourself of a moment where, in the home you grew up in first, with your parents or other caregivers, a moment where you were made to feel that the way you are is not acceptable, not good enough, and that the only way you would be accepted is if you showed up differently. Like literally put on a mask and pretend you feel different. Are you able to remember a moment like that from the very earliest days of your childhood? Take your next big breath. The real opportunity in going back on this journey to understand where we've picked up masks along the way is not to try and open old wounds or make accusations at the people in our lives back then, but to see how this opens the possibility of a new conversation within yourself. A new conversation with that very young version of you. If you could have a conversation with that very young part of you, and the truth is you can right now have a conversation with that young part, that young boy and young girl. How would that conversation go? We're going to take another step forward, still in those very, very, very young childhood years. It tends to be that we were surrounded by other adults as well. Could be uncles and aunts, could be grandparents. And very likely, you could remember another incident with one of the other adults, where how they made you feel was that the way you are is not acceptable. And you'll only be accepted if you wear some kind of a mask, pretend you feel different. See if you can remember a moment like that. Take your next big breath. And again, this opens the opportunity to a very honest conversation with that young child. And as you have this conversation with that inner child, would there really be a need for finger pointing? blaming and accusing these adults in your young life for the mistakes they made. An honest conversation almost always is really good at holding both sides of this truth. That while, yes, their words and their actions were really not necessary, they really didn't have to say what they said. They really did not need to do what they did. It's not because you were bad, but it's really because they didn't know. They even never taught how to have these honest conversations. And what's often really helpful for this inner child to hear is that if I were there back then, I would have stopped them. I would have told them they can't say what they're saying, and they can't do what they're doing. We'll take another step forward in this timeline. In our young lives, we're often surrounded by other young kids too. Could be brothers, sisters, and cousins, or the neighbors' kids. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, can you remember a moment with these young kids where one of them made you feel like the way you are is just not good enough, and you'll be rejected unless you wear a mask and pretend you feel different? Take your next big breath. And again, this opens an opportunity for a conversation with this inner child. A conversation that could go something like, I have got your back now. I understand how you felt at the time. I will pick up and hold you. And I don't expect you to wear a mask. I want to see you just as you are. I want you to bring your emotions just the way they are. We'll take another step forward in our timeline. The teachers in our young lives played an incredibly big role in the relationship we formed with ourselves. Could you perhaps remember a moment with a teacher where a teacher made you feel like the way you are is not acceptable, and you will only be accepted if you show up differently? Take your next big breath. The conversation that becomes available with this inner child could be something like, Yes, as kids, we thought teachers knew everything. But clearly, being older now, we can look at teachers and see that obviously they're just humans too. They're just humans carrying their own wounds and being reactive to the world, to the kids in their classes, because they didn't know how to do it any better. So now, years later, that teacher's opinion in the first place was wrong, and in the second place, it really doesn't matter anymore. What matters is my opinion of you. And I will pick you up, and I will hold you, and I will accept you with every mistake you've ever made. I will still accept you. Another step forward in this timeline is to the teenage version of you. A time in our life when we are actively trying to form this identity. And where our teenage friends play a big role in how we see ourselves. Can you remember a moment with a teenage friend where what was said, what was done, made you feel like you're not good enough? That you're going to have to be different in order to be accepted? Take your next big breath. What conversation will you have with this teenage version of you? The version of you that felt hurt by friends, felt rejected by friends, and can probably do with hearing from you now how the adult version of you sees this. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath-holding space and into the next. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a long, slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel how softness slips in and how softness settles in every part of your body. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, you can feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back. or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. What becomes available to us when we learn how to have these conversations with an inner child? A conversation that is really transparent and honest. A conversation that doesn't attack or blame or accuse others for the mistakes they made, but brings understanding. Of course, they didn't know better. But today I do. Today I know better. And therefore I will be the one who holds you. When we get better at these kind of honest conversations with ourselves, then it brings the opportunity of having these kind of honest conversations with the humans around us as well. And with a bit of practice, this kind of honesty starts shining through even in our professional lives too. I'll read to you one more time Matt Kahn's thoughts on this topic. He says one of the most commonly overlooked spiritual practices is daring to be completely honest with everyone you encounter. Some may say others cannot handle their honesty, but true honesty is not a strategy or a weapon of any kind. True honesty is the willingness to be open and absolutely transparent in sharing how any moment feels in your heart. It has nothing to do with confrontation or accusation or any form of blame. True honesty is the willingness to stand completely exposed, allowing the world to do what it may or say what it will, only so you may know who you are beyond all ideas. And this is something we often hear, the term, I'm just being brutally honest. And you can search through any spiritual teachings. Go back as far as you need. And you won't find any rule that says honesty has to be brutal. Brutal honesty is just the ego's way of being right. There's no rule that says honesty can't be kind. And complete honesty, when it comes from your wisdom, from your heart, when it comes from love, is always kind, is always gentle, but refuses to be not real. The last thought from Matt Kahn on the topic is, when someone says words that may not feel good in your body, that seem sarcastic in tone, and are meant to judge versus uplift you, this only offers you greater opportunities to raise the vibration of your response. By responding to anyone's criticism with love, with compassion and acceptance, you are stepping forward as a master of relationships to create your own experience, which has nothing to do with how anyone treats you. Of course, this level of honesty is not common in society. We don't see it everywhere. But once we start noticing it, once we start trying to practice it, then we do start noticing the examples of people who are able to be completely honest Even point out mistakes when it's necessary. And leaving the other person feel uplifted, even if the conversation was about mistakes. Leaving the other person not feeling judged and rejected, because the honesty was beautiful, kind, gentle. And what this honesty teaches is it teaches the other person that there's no need to wear a mask. We can all learn how to take those masks off when we learn how to have more beautifully honest conversations. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for a moment to explore past experiences that may have taught me to wear a mask. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for the opportunity to have a conversation with that inner child. A conversation that reminds this inner child that there's nothing fundamentally wrong with the person they are. What they experienced was not because they are flawed. It's just because people in general are wounded and don't realize how their actions cause more wounding. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning to have very honest conversations with different versions of myself. Yes, conversations about mistakes too. Honest conversations can honestly acknowledge mistakes. Of course, there was a mistake made. We don't have to avoid that. But also, all that is necessary is to try again. Just honestly try again. That's all. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning a sense of ease with honest conversations, even when the topics are hard. We can get to a place where honest conversations are beautiful. And once we get a taste of that, we never want to go back to avoiding the truth. We never want to go back to fake conversations. Because honesty really feeds our soul. The truth is, honesty does set us free. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for being a part of our journey. Thank you for bringing more honest conversations to the world. We need them. Michelle, a very good morning to you. It's awesome seeing you. Hello. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, Sunmarie. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Michelle. Wishing you a beautiful day. See you again soon. Ciao, ciao.